back in 2013, we created the band or founded the band. We had so much difficulty in, settling on a band name. We knew we wanted the word culture in there, but we couldn't figure out anything else. We actually took the word culture and put it in a like band name generator online, and
Okay.
poof, Orbiculture. We were like, yeah, that works. And we hated it so much for so many years, and kind of still do.
Metal Radio. I don't dance. I headbang.
I'm very happy to be able to talk with Niklas Karlsson from Orbit Culture here on Metalradio.gr. Welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
So, even though today that we're doing the recording is a sad day because of the loss of Tom Lindberg, the occasion we are talking is your new release that's coming out on October 3rd, Death Above Life, which is kind of. Anyways, tell me a few things about it.
I mean,
in
it's
terms of the creative process, the production, the music.
Yeah, we wrote the bulk of the album between April and July last year, just before we went on the Slipknot US tour. And it was kind of a easy going writing process, I would say. And then we came back from South America in November and started to record the whole thing. Send it off to mixing, to Buster Oderholm of Humanity's Last Breath, and he mixed it and stuff. And so it was rather easy to get it done. And now we're here promoting it, for sure.
I have been following the band a few EPs back, but everybody seems to believe that your previous album, Descent, was the one that was the breakthrough for the band. Do you feel the same?
I would say Nidia was the breakthrough back in 2020. That's when, stuff really started to happen for us, especially like behind the scenes, when we got, a booking agency and, everything just started to move towards the direction of getting tours and stuff. I think Descent was a good continuation of us proving that we wanted to do this for the long run. So I would have to say Nidia over Descent in that regard. But I think songs like Vultures of North on Descent really latched on to a live setting pretty good. So they both albums have different strengths, I would say.
Okay. As I said, I have been following the album, but for those, not the album, the band, sorry. But for those who are not accustomed to your style and your sound, how would you describe Orbit Culture?
That's a very tough question, but I would say I think it's pretty much all metal combined into one metal band.
Okay.
In some way, but I mean, if you're into melodic death metal, there's definitely elements in our music there. If you're into some deathcore, groove metal, everything, classic metal even. I mean, I think there's something for everybody in Orbiculture music. I hope so, at least.
Okay. So Death Above Life comes out on October 3rd. Can you tell me about the live dates that are going to follow?
Yes, we will embark on the Death Above Life European UK tour on October 21st in Hamburg is the first show. Then it's just 30 shows after that, and we will be all over the place in Europe basically. So yeah, we're stoked. It's gonna be mental. The rooms are big. We have great support bands, Guerrilla and Atlas. So, and I hope people doesn't miss out on this tour because that would suck.
Well, what about us Greeks? Are you planning on coming to Greece?
I would love to, but unfortunately, it's not up to us to decide where we play. It's up to people who knows that stuff way better than any of us do.
Okay.
But if Greece comes along in an email or something, I will not hesitate to accept. So I would love to play in Greece.
And we would love to have you. Are you also planning on going on to continuing the live dates in summer festivals around Europe?
Yes, definitely. We will hopefully get the US tour ready to go next autumn. No, next spring. Then we're gonna follow up that with we have Wacken, Summer Breeze, Bloodstock, and a few more that aren't announced yet. Alcatraz is on there too. So we have a lot of the big European festivals. There's more coming for sure.
Okay, we're looking forward to it. Can you tell me? I know that for so many years you might have answered this question quite so many times, but where does Orbit Culture come from?
The band name.
Yes.
Yes. Back in 2013, we created the band or founded the band. We had so much difficulty in, settling on a band name. We knew we wanted the word culture in there, but we couldn't figure out anything else. We actually took the word culture and put it in a like band name generator online, and
Okay.
poof, Orbiculture. We were like, yeah, that works. And we hated it so much for so many years, and kind of still do.
I think it creates a kind of aura around you. It's a nice name.
Oh, thank you.
Tell me about your influences.
It started with Kiss, I would say. That was like my first entry to rock.
Okay.
And then my brother had this CD. I think it was the Garage Days by Metallica. And I just randomly found that CD in our like stereo player. And I fell in love with the song Die Die My Darling, even though that was a cover, but I didn't know back then. And I fell into like the rabbit hole of metal like that. But I was kind of late to the party when it comes to, actual extreme metal because I had so much trouble in hearing what people were like screaming about. So, but then I found Parkway Drive when I was like 17, followed by Gojira. And when I listened to The Way of All Flesh by Gojira, everything just changed for me. And I knew like this is what I want to do too.
Does does everyone in the band have similar influences, or are you coming from diverse backgrounds, musical backgrounds?
I mean, when it comes to metal, everybody's like inspired by metal, of course, and grew up with metal in some way. But Frederick, our bass player, is more. He's always leans, more towards like bands like Iron Maiden and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
While Richard, our guitar player, he grew up with Slipknot and those kind of bands. While Christopher, who's a bit older than us, grew up with his heydays. His teenage years was in the beginning of the 2000s. So he grew up with Limp Bizkit and Korn and Linkin Park and stuff like that. So we are very diverse when it comes to inside the metal world, but yeah, we're pretty much the same anyways. Also these days.
It comes out, I believe, the diversity in your
Yeah.
sound. It comes out. Um, I personally haven't had the chance to watch you live, but a friend of mine has in Brutal Assault. And I was wondering, he couldn't quite put it into words, so I'm going to ask you directly. There are some parts in your songs that go mellow, but when you're in a show, you know the energy is all pumping. So how do you use those mellow parts, those melodic parts in your live shows, and how does the audience respond?
I I think it's a good thing. To be completely honest, I've not been such a like an avid concert goer myself, so I don't really. Obviously, I've been to like Metallica and Rammstein and bigger acts, but I don't really know how it should sound for an audience member. But what I do know is that we want to keep the set list very dynamic, and even the songs to be dynamic, because I think dynamic is good, because all the other stuff that we do that are harsh, or it's like brick walled to death, so it's just a wall of sound. So we needed those like small bridges of maybe a clean guitar, just
Hmm.
to create more dynamics for it, because that also elevates the harder, the heavier parts of a song, I believe.
Do you feel you are more of a guitarist or a singer?
I'm more of a songwriter, I would say. Uh, I I mean, I love playing live. It's one of the best things ever for me. But I'm way more comfortable in writing stuff, I would say. I
Hmm.
love to perform, like, don't get me wrong, but I'm way more comfortable in this room, and just fiddling away throughout the night, being alone and just trying to create stuff. So I think I'm more of a songwriter, but if I had to choose, I tend to see myself as a slightly better singer than guitar player.
Okay, okay. What inspires you to write a song?
Could be everything. A movie soundtrack. Rediscovering fucking "Justice for All" by Metallica. Everything, pretty much everything these days. You can hear like an intro to a TV series, like, holy shit, that was so awesome. I want to include that in Orbit Culture Music.
Would you like to become a part, as you referred to Metallica earlier? So, Metallica were part of the soundtrack of Stranger Things a few years back. Would you imagine the music of Orbit Culture becoming the soundtrack to a movie or a TV series? Would you be open to some sort of?
If it was a horror movie, it doesn't matter if it's like the worst budget B shit movie ever, I would be there. I mean, I would put Orbit Culture Music all over it if I could. My dream would always has always been to, because I love the Saw movies so much, the horror franchise, and I know other metal bands have had their songs in Saw movies, so I would love to be one of them. So they have to make more Saw movies.
Let's hope the producers are watching. Okay, let's go back to Death Above Life. Tell me, do you have a favorite song in the album?
I think it has to be the last one, which is, the ballad, I guess. But it's not really like an 80s ballad. It's more like a movie soundtrack with vocals on top of it. And it's the song The Path I Walk, because it's been with us for a few years, but we never known what to do with it. So until we got the lyrics done for it and actually recorded the vocals, we felt like this is a Orby Culture song. But it's also so weird. It's very different from the other stuff on the album, but I think it fits so well in the end there, and I'm so glad that we pulled it off. So that's my favorite song of the album for sure.
Would you perform it live, even though it's a ballad?
Uh, in the right environment, for sure, definitely. But as you said, it might it might be tough to get it in like dynamic wise, and maybe a song that's that slow might interfere with the flow of a set. But in a bigger room, in a bigger setting, I think it could work for sure. Sometime in the future.
Is it different dynamics when you're playing a headliner show in a venue in comparison to playing a slot in a festival?
Yeah, definitely. Like smaller venues or like clubs and stuff. Even like 1,000 cap room feels way more intimate. It feels like that's where metal is very thriving. I mean, but that's only from like personal experience, because I think venues like that is where metal is like the most sweaty it could be, and people are having such a good time, and I mean, you're a few arm lengths from grabbing a beer and just continuing moshing and stuff. And that's a beautiful thing. While on festivals, it's a whole different other thing, because maybe the sun is shining, maybe it's rain, but it's usually these big ass crowds. And for us as a band, it's quite hard to get that connection in a venue, even though we love it. It feels very powerful to be on a festival stage when there's like a sea of people, but it's just like two different feelings, because usually the stage is so far away from the crowd. It's like these big barriers and stuff in between, so it just feels like you're so far away from the crowd. But yeah, I love both like environments so much. It's just different feelings.
Can you remember the best thing that you have heard from a fan of the band? Something they confided in you, or something that they said about your music, about your performance, something that stuck with you?
I think when it comes to our lyrics and stuff, when I've written the lyrics, I've never thought about anybody really like resonating with that stuff, because it's the lyrics are so like personal to me. But when people come up, like some people can come up and say like, yeah, I love that riff. That riff was insane, blah blah blah, and that's cool in itself. But when you meet these people who actually took the lyrics into their hearts, and was able to go through difficulties with the music helping them, that's the biggest compliment that I could ever get. And there's been a few times where people have come up to me and said that like that they wouldn't be able to continue without some of the lyrics and music. So that's very beautiful, and that's yeah, the biggest compliment that I could ever get.
Sounds touching. True. If you could go back to the formation of the band when you were just starting out, would you give yourself some sort of advice to change something?
Think I would, especially in the early days. But it's also very easy to say now in hindsight. But I think we should have put a bit more effort in the early days. But even that's hard, because it's nowadays when the band has grown into like its own identity in some way, it's very easier to keep people motivated and keep people on board on the project at all times. But I wish we were a bit more driven in the early days to get more shit done, because I know for a fact we haven't we've become a bit better at like getting shit done now, because we have practiced that kind of thing. But I think we could pull it off in the earlier days too. So a bit more work, I would say, and practice your instrument.
So that's what
that
what you would say to new musicians trying to come out also,
I would
probably.
say, trust your gut instinct, practice your instrument. Uh, a smile will help you very much so in life. So those three. And fourth, take care of your family. That's very important, and don't become estranged to your family because you're so focused. You have to keep a good balance.
That's nice advice, actually. Okay. Thank you very much for your time. I'm hoping I get the chance to see you live, whether it's in Greece or in some festival or in Europe. I'm positive that Death Above Life will be a huge success. What feedback have you gotten so far from the videos that are out?
It's been great. What I've noticed is that we've gotten a lot of new fans, which is always good. Uh, I think a bit younger crowd, I think, compared to the other releases that we've done. So I'm all for it.